and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars review. This time I'm here with set 75290, the Mos Eisley Cantina. It was released on September 16th, 2020 for VIPs only, and then it was released globally on October 1st of 2020. It has 3,187 pieces, is rated ages 18 plus, and comes with a whopping 21 minifigs, 7 of which are brand new, and I know you won't see all of them on the front as per usual down in the little corner there, but they are all on the top. We'll get to the top of the box in a second. This set retails at about $349.99 in dollars, $319.99 in pounds, and $344.30 in euros. The iconic Mos Eisley Cantina was located north of Anchorhead in the Great Mesra Plateau. Its true name is actually Chalmers Spaceport Cantina, but of course it got its nickname Mos Eisley Cantina because it's the most famous cantina in Mos Eisley. By 9 AB, after the fall of the Empire, the no droid rule was actually abolished, giving way to multiple supervisor droids being hired in the cantina as bar staff and bartenders. Popular drinks in this hellhole include Blue Milk, Tatooine Sunset, Jawa Juice, Gatuni Bosca, Tatooine Junko, and Hutt's Delight. A sandstone construct, it housed 102 people and served 12 drinks. If you look close enough, you can see a spare jet engine part in the background that were used later on for IG-88's head. Here you can see all of the minifigures. You can see, I'll just list them out, Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, C-3PO, R2-D2, Han Solo, Chewbacca, a Sandtrooper squad leader, a normal Sandtrooper, 3 Bith musicians, all with different instruments. You've got Wooher the barman, you've got Greedo, Panda Baba, Dr. Evazan Labria, I think, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, Werek Kalfos, Momo Nadon, Cabe, and Jawa. And of course at the end there you have the very special Garindan. I'm not sure if I got any of those names right, but you know. So on the side here, I don't really have a lot of space to show you, but you can see the Lego logo on top just about, and you can see another little angle from the cantina saying Master Builder Series as well. Definitely nice to see there. On the other side of the box, it is literally just this the whole way down. It's black, apart from a little bit of small print there. On the bottom of the box, you can see more of your small print there, but you know, nothing too interesting, your little Lego logo over there. So on to the back of the box now, and it's definitely really nice how they've added in some little things here. Like they've added in a little blueprint here, which I think is very nice because they added that in also on, I'm going to say, Captain Rex's ATTE Walker. And I just loved it. It was a little blueprint up the top of showing the ship from the front, the Walker from the front and from the side, and it was just very nice, and they've kind of brought that back a little bit in this as well. Also, they showed dimensions. I'll give you 58 centimeters by 23 inches. The Americans won't know what I'm talking about, I don't think. 52 centimeter or 20.5 inches, because the whole metric system is, you know, completely different, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm a cook, and I'd have to read American recipes sometimes, and it's just like, what? But anyway, you're definitely very nice to see the back of the box here. Like they've showed, they've recreated one of the scenes from the actual movie. Definitely nice that they've kind of added that in there. You can see the Bith band playing away Goodo there in the corner, and the seats are kind of around, are filled with kind of characters, and it does look nice. It definitely does look like a decent set. On the bottom here you can see Han and Greedo's little interaction at the table, and then imitated again in Lego version. Beside that then you can see the Stormtrooper searching for his droids, and then obviously enough then you can see the next box is your speeder, which is a lovely addition to the set. And to be honest, I think I've seen a couple of people buy the set just for the speeder and sell the rest, which is, you know, each to their own. It does look nice though, it really does. I love the way they've done the bar with all those gold and silver pieces, and I love all those different colour translucent pieces as well, like imitating the drinks. It just looks like a really nice looking set. I love as well, if you notice that it kind of does look like the table looks accurate. Like there's a little light on the top of it, and it looks like it's round and kind of dug in, kind of like, am I going to say a beer keg, or the bottom of a beer keg kind of style, which is close enough to the piece they've used. You know, I do like that, but I don't think there's an awful lot more I can say about the back of the box. I suppose we can get straight on to the overview. So here we have our overview of the entire set, and this set for the overview is a behemoth. It comes with so many different like little bits here in the front, a few little attachments then to the side. Obviously enough, it comes with the two different kind of spaceships if you want, like one's a speeder, one's a spaceship. It comes with a whopping 21 minifigures, and also then it comes with the Dewback as well. These little attachments off to the side, of course. There's just so much going on, and because there's so much going on, I actually had to use the second level for the first time ever for my minifigures. And to be honest, I don't think there's any way somebody could be disappointed with this set. I really don't think there is. So focusing in a little bit more on what actually comes with the set, you can see plenty of blasters there. You got Chewie's blaster here as well. You got two lightsabers. You got the kind of pole for the Dewback. I'm not really sure what the name of it is. You've got our musical instruments here for the Biff band. You can see there beside the box there is a little kind of stool or chair. Plenty of boxes. Now arguably there's more boxes that I haven't actually put out here. I'll get around to that in a second. But I'm really just taking out for the moment anything that's on like sleeper tiles or just stuck down by 2 studs or anything like that. If it's stuck down by 4 studs, I will assume it's just meant to stay where it is. Then of course you can see we've got 2 sweeping brushes, a shovel, no shortage of drinks and glasses of weird Star Wars varieties, and some glasses, some cups, and some kind of cauldrons as well. You can then see for some reason 2 bones. There's a pot there, a crystal, a few random bits here, that kind of thing that looks like an angle grinder, and a spare wheel for your Jawa hut. Now it's good to see these little things added in there, because it just adds an awful lot for playability, you know, for the imaginative side of things. You can see 5 white binoculars. For some reason they are loving the white binoculars in this set. 1 set of grey binoculars and 2 sets of different colours. Basic binoculars. I mean, I suppose they could be rangefinders, and then these could be binoculars maybe or something, but I'm not really too sure how to differentiate there. You can see then you've got 2 wrenches and a crowbar. You've got the saddle for the Dewback with the, I'm going to call it the bit. I think it still classifies as a bit. And yeah, you can see then your Dewback here, and his mouth opens, which is a great feature to have in there. You can see then Greedo's spaceship, which also opens and has a printed piece inside to represent the cockpit controls. You can see our speeder here. I think it's the X-34 land speeder. But yeah, anyway, the cockpit, as you can see, opens up. Then we're on to the little hut that comes with it as well. It's a very, very small hut. It opens, closes, the door opens, the roof opens. And as I said, there's more boxes in the set, but this is put down by 4 studs, so I'm not really going to take that out because I assume it's kind of meant to stay where it is. Same pretty much with the Jawa hut then. You can open up the top, the roof comes off on both sides there. Also, the roof closes for this bit, but before I do close it, I'll just show you the inside there a little bit. Arguably, this little sack or pouch is also like something that comes with the set, but I think I just left it there because I feel like it's meant to stay there. I don't feel like it is a carry pouch that people would use. Also, arguably, this is some kind of bit for an engine. You can use your imagination there to figure out what that actually is. But this is the Jawa Shop, so I would assume it's kind of some kind of piece for an engine, or, you know, something to do with a ship spare part or something. Also then, you can see these 2 bits clip onto the side. This is literally just a bit of land outside the cantina. Also, you can take the roof off. Don't know how much you can really call that a roof, but you can take that off. You can see it comes with these 2 things, which are located all over Tatooine, all over Mos Eisley. Also then, getting deeper into it, you can see that the roofs individually open up for each booth. Opens up then for the front doorway. The door itself opens and closes. You can then see the same with the back door. It opens and closes, the roof opens and closes, same with all of the booths on the other side as well. They all close up as you want them to. This set comes with an absolutely whopping amount of stuff, and I'm really impressed with that. To be honest, it's how a Master Builder set should be done, rather than the Hoth Master Builder set that came out with loads of different builds, the no structure to it at all, and just wasn't really appealing for anybody apart from kids, which didn't really have the money to buy it. But anyway, now on to the minifigures. They will come from left to right in the order you see there, because that's the order they come in on the box as well. If there's doubles, I'll probably just do one of them. I won't do every single one of them. And also give me a little bit of an allowance for getting the names wrong, because especially with this guy who is the same species as Bosk, I will not be able to pronounce his name properly, and it will be butchered, but I am just letting you know in due time. So, starting off with Luke. We have seen him since 2016 appear in 7 sets, so I'm not going to dwell too much on him. The printing is alright, you know, it does the job. It's nice that he is leg printing, definitely, and also that little bit there to make the torso print look a little bit longer. Definitely nice to see there. The belt looks well. He also has 2 different prints. He has a slight smile on one side and a more serious, stern, or even just plain look on the other side. Definitely nice to see there. Great for playability. Decent figure, but nothing really that new. On now to old Ben Kenobi. We've seen this figure released in 2019 with Death Star Cannon. The difference between him and a lot of the Obi-Wan Kenobis released, old Ben Kenobis released recently, is just basically the cape and hood. The printing on the torso is pretty much the same. I don't think he comes with another face. No, he doesn't come with any other back print there. On the back, you will see there is a little bit of printing. Some neat, decent stuff there, but, you know, nothing too complicated. Nothing too crazy there. Definitely a nice figure. I love the new hood piece on him. I think it is fantastic. It just looks really well. On now to C-3PO, and since 2016 we've seen him in 11 sets, so I'd say for a lot of people he is gone stale. But saying that, the printing on the front and on the back is very, very nice. You don't have side leg printing there, which we have seen before, or arm printing, which we've seen before on C-3PO. Don't know why they took that away. Probably should have left it in, but you know, it's Lego, so you can't really expect the best all of the time. But yeah, definitely very nice printing on the front there. You can see some of his wires on the inside there, a little bit of colour. You can also see leg printing done here very nicely. There's silver on one knee, gold on the other, to kind of just represent the fact that he is a little bit kind of bet up as well. Back printing there is on point, I think. Also the head mould, I'm not sure is it any different. Definitely different material, and definitely different in the fact that they printed the eyes this time around rather than left them plain, and that's nice to see there as well. Definitely all in all a nice figure, but to be honest, in 11 sets I think we probably could have done with a little bit of an upgrade. On now to R2-D2, who was released in 2020, this particular version of him. This is the 4th time we've seen him. They probably tuned in the details a little bit more finely, but to be honest, there's not a massive amount of difference between this or any other R2-D2. Definitely nice to see the chrome looking head there, definitely more accurate, and it's definitely a nice figure, but to be honest, again, common. Han Solo, in 2016 this figure came out and was not used again until 2018, and was used again then into 2021. So, you know, you can take what you want from that. Saying that, there is definitely some nice printing on the front there, on the torso. The belt printed onto the legs there is a lovely feature there, and it's done well also. The arms are a nice colour contrasted to the torso, and also the back printing is nice and interesting there. They've done as much as they can. It's always nice to see them putting a little bit more. Also then you'll see he has a back print as well on the other side of his head there. He has a little bit more of an upset look. The part there just under his collar, under his neck, has never really lined up, never really been skin colored. It's always just this kind of strange, I don't know, grey by the looks of things here, but otherwise definitely a decent minifigure. On now to Chewie, who was released in 2014 and is in a whopping 13 sets. He might look a bit ugly to people, and I will understand that, because to be honest, he does look a small bit ugly to me as well. Like, you can see there that the belt is printed and molded, which is nice to see there on both sides. There's a little bit of leg print in there, which is definitely good to see as well. It's good to see them kind of throwing in a little bit extra effort. But to be honest, I'm not sure if he's the most pretty figure. Otherwise, the mold is good, and still happy enough to see this figure in it, because I don't actually have this one myself. On now to the Sand Troopers. The only difference is the pauldron is a different colour. Otherwise, the back of them and the printing is all the same. You may notice that that piece on the back is more of a blue than a grey or a dark grey or a light grey or anything. It's more of a bluish grey, which is interesting there. I'll take away one because, as I said, there is a small difference in them, and otherwise it's the same piece. Now, we've seen this helmet once before, since 2019. We've seen the chest piece a few times, and to be honest, it's a nice enough figure if you think so, because I do kind of like the amount of detail on the figure's helmet. But since I seen the Blue Harvest meme, it just ruined the figure for me. And to be honest, it is a bit ugly, but in fairness, there's a good bit of detail in there. They got it somewhat right at the same time, but it is very big and bulky, and it doesn't allow the head to turn. Again, they worked out a way to do that, and with this figure, just kind of threw that in the bin. I will say, however, that the printing on the torso is definitely nice. There's like two colours in the helmet, like they've been doing recently. One face print there, it's not double-sided or anything like that. And another difference I didn't actually mention was the fact there is two different faces with these Sand Troopers. That is pretty much, however, the only difference, that and the pauldron. But then again, like, they are nice figures. I don't know, is there much printed on the back there? We'll have a look, I forget. Yeah, see, there's a nice bit of printing there on the back as well, like, even though it is covered most of the time by their backpack. But yeah, generally a nice figure, I think. It has a lot of controversy behind it, because like loads of people hate it, think it's ugly, think it's just brutal. But I actually kind of like it. Moving on to the Bith musicians. We also have seen these before. We've seen them once, however, and they were in the last Mos Eisley Cantina in 2014. They have not been updated at all, and all three of them are identical, so we'll get rid of two of them. The torso printing is basic enough, but then done well. A little bit on the back there as well. No leg printing. I don't really think you need it. But the head mold is, you know, I said that they've used this before, but I think it's because they kind of got it right the first time. You know, there's a few kind of freckles on him there as well. Nice little bit of printing on it, and a nice mold definitely for the head. And as I said, all three of them are identical. Definitely a nice figure to add to the set. Of course, you couldn't really have the Mos Eisley Cantina without him. And definitely happy with this minifigure. Now to Wooher the Barman. We've seen him in 2018 in the last edition of the Mos Eisley Cantina. Decent figure. He has two face prints here. He has one angry on the front, and he has one kind of not as angry, but still kind of a bit grumpy looking. I don't think he's ever really that happy, but you know, I think you have to be kind of a mean person to work in Mos Eisley Cantina. You can see there that his shirt is open a little bit, showing a bit of chest hair. And also, you can see that there's a nice bit of printing on the front and basic printing on the back. The belt, of course, goes around the whole way as well. No leg printing. Yeah, definitely a lovely addition to the set, but fairly basic. Next up, we have Greedo, notably also from the 2018 Mos Eisley Cantina, rather than using the one with the arm printing, which some people have been given out about. And to be honest, only the best is good enough, so, you know, that it's understandable for people to give out about it. However, the head mold and printing on the eyes, especially the printing on the eyes there, is amazing. I really love that effect they've done there. They've got that right. The torso printing is nice, definitely. Some leg printing on there. Always lovely to see a little bit of leg printing. Some basic enough back print there as well. Some lines to look like fabric, and also then to look like the stitching of the back of his jacket. The colours are pretty bang on it as well. Definitely nice to see. But again, the only problem I suppose would be the fact there is no arm printing, and they took that away rather than keeping it. You know, that is definitely a problem. Now, new and exclusive to this set is Panda Baba. Obviously, we all remember him. He's the one that had a run-in with a Jedi and his arm didn't survive. He is definitely one of the cooler minifigures in the set. Definitely nice to see. The head mold is completely unique to him, obviously enough, because I don't think we even see any of his race at all throughout the rest of Star Wars. You can see there's a nice little bit of printing on the back. No leg printing, which is fine. You know, there's not really much of a... They've given us a new figure, so that is what it is. Also, then you can see a little bit of the torso print there, and for some reason they've gone and put the small bit up there grey when they couldn't have done that with Han, and this guy has that part covered with his face. So that's a bit kind of strange that they go to that extra mile for this figure, but it's still nice to see them adding it in there. Definitely a lovely figure to the set. And of course, it's a new one that we have not seen before, so that also brings it up. Now, another new figure with Dr. Cornelius Evazan. Definitely a nice figure to see there. You can see there that his face printing is really scruffed up there. You can see all the lines. You can see one eye is kind of blinded as well. Definitely some nice detail on there. So you see some stubble as well. And the shirt wide open. He's really looking rough there. His hairpiece isn't a new piece, but it's definitely nice to see there as well. They've kind of done the best they can with that idea, using what they have. The back printing is nice there, a little bit of ruffling and feathering there. And the print on the front of the torso is also nice to see. Kind of basic, but at the same time they've done well with what they have there, because the clothes in Star Wars are basic anyway. Lovely figure to see in the set. Definitely goes well beside Panda Baba. Let's move on. On now to Cardu Sai Malak, I think is how it's pronounced. Also another new figure in this set. You can see there that his headpiece is completely unique to him and is another new piece as well. Definitely nice to see there. He has two prints. For one, kind of not as happy, a bit sad looking, maybe a bit angry or grumpy or bored, I don't know. And also then we have the smile on the front. The torso print is nice. It shows you a little scarf there. It's a little bit shiny as well. Which is definitely interesting there as well. Also then there's a little bit on the back. You can see his scarf is going around the whole way. Has that belt there as well, which goes around onto the front. Definitely a beautiful figure, I think, and definitely a lovely addition to the set. Another new figure, Momo Nadon, I think is how that's pronounced. And this is a really nice figure, because even from the head starting off, you can see that there's a little bit of a hood on the back there with different colour and different kind of it looks like it's fabric, kind of, you know, the way it's molded. Also then you can see the eyes have a kind of squint to them, which is interesting there. The head mold is really nice. We don't really see this alien printed quite a lot. The torso print, they've kind of gone the extra mile, gotten the printing on the belt, legs and feet. You can see there his little scarf is actually coming down onto the torso as well. You got his belt there with the shiny belt buckle. You got his toes poking out the bottom, which is definitely really interesting to see them going so far in depth to the kind of design on this figure. You can see the belt underneath as well. His belt, it's kind of a rope coming down straight onto his legs, which is definitely really interesting to see there. All of that detail coming around the back as well, with the scarf also. Definitely a really nice figure. They've done a very good job with this figure. Happy to see him in the set, and he's definitely a good addition. Now on to Herchek Kal Fas, I think is how you pronounce his name. Definitely not sure. Definitely he's the same race as Bosk, and you can really see that. Like, I think the head mold is the same, but it's in a different colour than Bosk. Definitely really nice to see there. I love the fact they've added in so many different aliens. The colours on the torso, as you can see there, green and tan, are very nice together. They work kind of strangely together, but in a good way. Also then you can see his torso is printed there on the front quite nicely, with another addition of a little blue up the top here. Definitely nice to see there. You got something in his pocket there. It's good to see them adding in that kind of level of detail. Also then you will see that the eyes are 2 or 3 different colours, which is nice to see as well. I think they're his pupils, and you see of course the white shine of light up on top there as well, with his toothy grin that all of Bosk's race seem to have. Definitely a lovely minifigure, also a new minifigure, one of the many new minifigures in the set, and brings the set up quite a bit. Next up you have Cabe, also another new minifigure. He has a new mold for the head. You can see there that the ears are molded onto the head and printed on the inside as well there. A really ugly looking face there, and he's got them short legs. You can see that on his jacket there's a few pockets, which is nice to see there. Also there's a kind of, I don't know, is that the material or is that the print of his strange undertop there, his t-shirt. Definitely nice to see there though. They've gone an extra mile there with the level of printing. Also on the back then you will see there's a little bit more printing, but nothing too crazy. And he does not, just for the record, have any printing on the back of his head there. Just the one ugly face on the front. It's ugly, but it's accurate and it's quite nice. Next up we have a Jawa. He was released in 2018 and was in 4 sets. Decent enough little figure, to be honest. They've got the head right. They've just literally a black head with 2 dotted eyes there on the front. Definitely nice to see. They also use the old style hood, which is, you know, it is what it is. I still don't really mind the old style hood, but I think the newer style hood is definitely much cooler looking. You can see there also on the front he has his belt and his kind of ammo belt as well on his chest there. A little bit of tattered clothing underneath, and it goes through to the back print as well. You can see the buckle on the back there and the rest of the belt. Decent minifigure. Nice that they added it in there for the Jawa Shop, and good addition to the set. The final figure, Garindan, I think is how you pronounce that. The Imperial Spy, and the probably pull for a lot of these people buying the set is this minifigure. The first time we've actually seen him, and to be honest, I think they're right to have waited this long and done a decent job on the minifigure. Now, if you take off the hood, you'll see that the face, it is kind of like it's a piece that you put under the head and comes up there at the front. But this is not printed at all. There's nothing on it. And it's kind of like a dark chrome. I don't know if chrome is the right word, but it's shiny and it's that kind of dark gun looking kind of metal. Because I think gunmetal is blue, isn't it? So it's not really gunmetal, but it's kind of more of a granite, shiny kind of piece. Definitely lovely to see there. We have the newer style hood there as well, which this fits perfectly into. This little face piece fits perfectly into. We have a black cape on the back there. We have obviously enough the Imperial clothing with no badge on there, or else that would give his position away. Also then you can see on the back, not a lot of detail on that, of course, just a small bit, but I think it's all they really need for that, especially seeing as it's being covered by a cape. But definitely a beautiful figure to add to the set, definitely worth it, and it really does look great against the Mos Eisley Cantina. Delighted with this minifigure, and to be quite honest, delighted with most of the minifigures, mainly because we have 7 new minifigures and altogether 21 of them. And laid out in front of all of the characters are their weapons. You can see there that Luke and Obi-Wan get lightsabers. The droids get nothing. Han gets his pistol. Chewie gets his blaster there. You can see the stormtroopers are the only one who gets 2 attachments. The Bith Band gets their instruments. You can see 4 of these guys as well get blasters. You get a couple of guys with no weapons there at all. You get the Jawa's stun blaster, and of course the Imperial Spy's blaster as well. On now to the Dewback. You have 2 attachments for the back. If you want to leave it plain like that, you probably shouldn't because it looks weird, but you can. His mouth opens and closes. Definitely nice printing on the front there. The molded piece is 1 piece, which is really nice to see. I'm glad they've done it. Some people actually would prefer the brick-built version, but personally, I definitely prefer the molded. Definitely nice to see some printing there. Also, you can see some speckles around the whole way just for a little bit more detail, which is great. You can see his feet there are pretty normal. They are 2x3 studs long. Also then you will notice on the inside of the mouth it has printed and molded teeth, which is nice. On the underside it does not have anything like that, which it used to, so that might be a kind of disappointment for some people. You can put this on if you want to have him wear no saddle and just be a wild animal essentially, which is okay. You can do that, or you can but the problem is sometimes taking off the piece results in this happening. Also then, if you so please, I'll probably leave it this way myself, you can put on the saddle onto the back, and to be honest, I think it looks a bit nicer. I think it looks a little bit strange when you put the back piece on and just have that sitting there. Then you can of course put the bit on using these little tubes there. Stick that right on there, and then you can push it back, and to be honest, I think it looks nicest when it has the saddle on. Definitely a nice little addition to the set. You can fit your little stormtrooper on top there, and also have storage for his binoculars and gun, which is definitely a nice little feature there. Also, this kind of, I'm sure, signifies like little pouches as well. Definitely nice. Lovely design. I like the fact it's molded, and yeah, definitely a nice addition to the set. So as per usual, I'm going to review the small stuff before the big stuff, and then work my way up, hopefully in size. But because like altogether this is a massive amount, I will just say that is really going to bring up the set leaps and bounds, because the amount of blasters you get is decent. The amount of little drinks and cups and glasses you get is fantastic. I love the fact that they have the white binoculars in there because they're a little bit more rare. All these little bits and bobs are perfect for the Jawa Shop and perfect for that kind of sense of imagination there. Also, the bartender's rack there for his little bits and bobs. There's a few like bottles on it, and there's a brush on it, and it's just kind of, it's very good to have that in there, because that's another kind of point for imagination. It's just, it opens the horizon so much. All these little boxes, it's just, the possibilities are endless, really, to be honest, and I just think that's fantastic. So, starting off with the land speeders, the first of which is the Ubrikian 9000 land speeder. I genuinely thought this was a spaceship and not a land speeder, because just the shape of it looks like it's kind of going to lift off, but it actually is more of a land speeder. Now, something I will say about this is all of this should be higher up. This should be a lot less, and this should be tiny. The opening point should definitely be like a lot smaller. And to be honest, it's a little bit inaccurate to what you see in the film. Also, arguably, I thought that was more so see-through, and it was just black in the movie because the inside of it was so dark and they didn't really want to give anything away. I think that's pretty much my opinion on that. Like, saying that, it's a nice little addition to the set just for the sake of playability, definitely. You can see there the inside can fit one person on two studs, so the legs aren't coming off. It also has a control panel there, and you know, it's okay. It fits the figure. It looks alright, but if you're really going for that level of detail, it's probably not the best one. But for playability, it's definitely a great addition to the set. And the building technique I do like, because it kind of builds horizontally. You build all of these little kind of plates separately and stick them onto the side like that, which is nice. And also then they have that kind of clear brick in the middle. It's a nice addition to the set for playability, definitely, but for the collector's side of things and display side of things, for accuracy, it doesn't really get many marks at all. On now to the V35 land speeder, and this is a lovely addition. We've never seen this before in LEGO. We've seen it twice in the movie, surprisingly enough. I think it's either in Luke's or Anakin's basement at some stage on Tatooine there in Lars Homestead, in a different colour when C-3PO is taking his oil bath. So I think it is more so in A New Hope, but I'm not actually too sure. I can't remember which one it is now. But then again, also we see it in front of Mos Eisley, and it's a lovely little addition. It's a lovely build. It looks nice and sleek. But the problem, I would say, is they have to lie down the pilot here, which is, you know, it is what it is. It may be inaccurate, it may be a little bit kind of, it looks strange to you, but for playability, it's okay. You can also fit someone in the back there, and there is stickers on here and here to represent control panels for both of the pilots. Definitely a nice little build. It's a handy, like, quick, easy little build. It comes in the first 2 bags, and I think it just looks very well, to be honest. If you wanted to buy this separately, I would not blame you at all. It's definitely a nice little land speeder to have in your collection. On to the little building bits now. Starting off with the moisture vaporators. These are all over Tatooine. Not sure the function of them. It's nice to see them come in here with something like this, especially in place of the I can't remember the name of it, but the really big ship that's just kind of nosedived into the ground in front of Mos Eisley. It was either that or a few of these, I think, in my opinion. And to be honest, they do look very well in the set. They bring up the set, they make it look more realistic. And if you wanted to mock more of them, you could really open up the Mos Eisley kind of mocks and stuff that you were doing if you were doing anything like that. Definitely a lovely addition to the set. Now, they both do connect onto the cantina in one way or another. This one connects onto a bit that connects onto the cantina, and this one connects directly to the cantina. One is obviously, as you will see, bigger than the other, but it's nice to see two different designs in there, because obviously enough, I think all of them are a little bit different anyway. Nice little techniques here, for example, these little bits and bobs just for a little bit of added detail there are also definitely appreciated. I'm really happy the two of these are in here because it's one thing that just really makes it feel like Tatooine. On now to our first kind of side build of the thing. This connects onto the side of Mos Eisley Cantina, and just here on the cantina there's two little switches that you can shoot to, you can say who shot first, Greedo or Han, but it will lift them off their seat. Or if you wanted to recreate something completely different, then you could do that as well, obviously, fire them off the seat. Now, as I said, with one of the moisture vaporators, it connects onto a side build like that, which connects on then to Mos Eisley Cantina through here, and the other one, as I said, connects directly on, but that's not what I'm talking about at the moment, so I'll take that away again. This is literally just kind of a back door area or a bin area, really. In here I have chosen to place all the guns, although it tells you just to put a wrench in there, and I've done that as well. But to be honest, all those little spare guns and stuff I've also put in there just to avoid losing them, and to be honest, you can do that anywhere you want. There's little boxes here with other stuff in them, like the white binoculars in there as well. All of them kind of you can take up and down, like barrel there, probably to signify a bin. And then there's another kind of Imperial box with another set of binoculars in there. Standard binoculars, but nothing too crazy. This thing, obviously, nobody really knows what it is, but it is definitely a good kind of addition in there. It makes it look more like Tatooine, because there's a lot of weird stuff that you don't really understand, made out of metal and scrap parts in Tatooine. And just this whole thing does look very well on the side. If you wanted to say Woohoo was going out the back door and taking out, say, for example, this barrel, it makes him look like he's going out to the bin area, and it's definitely a nice little addition to the set. Next up, we have the Dewback's pen, and he has a little thing here for water, a little thing there for food. Obviously enough, he's probably already eaten the food because it's only a bone left over, but the representation of it, or the idea of it, is enough to kind of use your imagination for the rest of the way. It also connects on to the cantina through one of the Technic rods and Technic pins. Not sure which one is which, but they're both different, I think. I would assume that all of these are for tying up your mount. So, like, for example, the Dewback would have it, like, tied up there and maybe that or something, because they're all around the cantina. But I could be wrong. It's just an assumption. I don't think they've really said what they are. It does look well on the side, but maybe it's a little bit inaccurate. Also, it looks kind of well on its own, but if you wanted to really make it a thing on its own, either put it against the wall or finish off this and make that kind of fully walled off, would definitely be a nice addition there just on its own. But it does look well with the canteen or without the cantina. Now we have the typical building in Tatooine style. I think that's the name of it. I'm not sure, is this the hut or the shop? Because I thought the other one was the hut because it was smaller, it was one room, and to be honest, that looks like an engine for sale, you know what I mean? This looks like a box of stuff that people can root through. All these kind of things look like they're for sale. However, arguably, that's what they're cooking their dinner with. It's a nice little hut. It really is a nice little addition to the set. It clips on here and here to the two other builds that come with it. The big build of the cantina and, of course, the shop. You can take off the roof there to get a better view of the inside. And to be honest, I really do like this little build. It comes with a few little things, like there's another cup there, there's like an angle grinder looking thing there, a little pouch there as well, obviously. You get this kind of chainsaw looking thing, but all of these things make it look like it is part of the shop because they're just random bits and bobs that can be sold. There's a little crystal in there, and with this build it tells you to make a Jawa, So that's what my assumption was, that it was, you know, the Jawa's shop. But to be honest, I think I'm wrong. The top has a little printed tile there, which looks very well. This little detail here, I love. I just really enjoyed making it, and I love how they use these kind of angle pieces without having the angle on them to really just give that kind of level of detail there. They also have these little pipes the whole way throughout their little buildings, obviously for, you know, something to do with moisture or something, even an aerial or whatever you want to make out of it. But yeah, definitely a nice little build. Also, you can see a sticker on a 1x1 brick there to kind of represent the keypad for the doorway, which is nice, but there's no door, so you can take what you want from that. All in all, very happy with this little build. I really do enjoy it. Next up, we have the Jawa Shop, I think, because this is either the Jawa Shop or the house on its own. The reason I thought it was the house on its own is because you open it up and it's one room, and to be honest, both of them maybe one room, but the fact you can take off two rooms and the other one makes me think that's two different rooms. But also, this would kind of be the giveaway that it's a shop. It has the shop window there. You can see there that there's little bits and bobs on the side here, little bits of junk and spare parts and stuff. Also then you can see the front door opens and closes as you want it to. It clips on here, as you can see, to the Jawa hut, which clips on then to the cantina. This one goes further on, but if you want, you can of course keep it separate altogether. It opens, and also the roof opens. There is the door. There's the little window. It comes with a few bits and bobs inside as well. Not an awful lot, but, you know, a few things there for imagination. And you see a little brush there, and there's another cup and another wrench in a box there. Definitely is a lovely little addition to the set. As I said, I love the fact that they've added in these two buildings, because it just really makes it seem more legit, and it's definitely great for playability. Now, as I said, all of this clips together as well. You can clip it on here, and you can clip this one on then here, and to be honest, it looks well, I think. But however, I think it does still look a little bit better with them separated all together, because you just have a little bit more freedom with the whole thing. Definitely still does look great together or not together, or even just beside each other. I think they really do complement each other very well. Also, as I said, the moisture evaporator clips on there, and if you want, then you can put that on to the side here as the kind of bin area or back door area. This kind of wiggles a little bit, but not a massive problem. Also then, the back door, which would make me think it's the bin area, is here with all of Woohoo's kind of, you know, cleaning products there and a few spare bottles and stuff like that. So that works fine, and to be honest, it looks very well as well. And finally then, as I said, you can also stick the pen on the side there for the Dewback, and through this little pin there as well, you can stick that in there. So it does all work together very well. It sticks together very well, and to be honest, I wouldn't really carry it with all these things kind of off the side. Maybe this one is a bit sturdier, and also the back door area is a bit sturdier, but this I would be kind of worried about. Also the other moisture evaporator, I would also be a little bit worried about picking it up. The whole set itself is very sturdy, and I wouldn't be massively worried about picking any of it up, but, you know, it's just something that you got to keep in mind. So, finally, on to the cantina itself. So first off, we have the, obviously enough, roof comes off, and just to avoid mixing up all the different panels of the roof, I'm going to put them back on sleeper tiles here to the opposite side. So that is one way you can do it, to take off the ceilings, and to be honest, I do like the fact that you can keep them all together like that. I think it's definitely handy. I don't know if it was intentionally made that way, but, you know, definitely a nice little welcome feature there. You can open up both of the little huts there as well. Obviously then you can see into the bar. There's obviously a bar because it is the cantina, and the main function that is kind of dragging people into buying it is the fact it can open up completely. Now, another function is the who shot first, Han versus Greedo, and I will show you a little demonstration of that now. So as you can see there, Greedo and Han sitting in there having their little chat, and boom, you can make one of them kind of pop out of their chair a little bit, and that kind of signifies, you know, who shot first. That whole scene there, that is pretty much, I don't know, is it iconic, but it's definitely one of the more memorable scenes out of Star Wars Cantina, out of the Mos Eisley Cantina. It then, just to show you then, it can actually, It's these little bits here that you click and boom, as you've seen there, I think you might have seen Han's head pop up there a little bit. If you give it a bit more welly, they'll pop out a little bit more furiously. But for now, that's kind of just all the main functions it does. Also, of course, you can open up the front door there and the back door also. I can give you a little look at that open up also. So that is one cool thing about it. Something that it says in the instruction book is the doors are supposed to open to the side, but just for the ease of the set and the play features, they open from the top, which, you know, it's not a big deal to me, and probably to other people as well, displaying or playing with it. But yeah, definitely a very detailed set. As you can see here, the bar just goes kind of into it, using all these weird pieces. A few little drinks there on the side, some strange like lantern piece upside down in gold, and it's just very nicely done, I think. Also then you can see a printed tile in there to kind of represent the, you know, the ATM or the cash register that he uses. In here you will see little compartments. He has a bone in one of them and nothing else in the other, so you can kind of use that for playability. Obviously enough, you've got spare bottles here as well, glasses, and some more kind of weird drinks there as well. Then if you look around all the booths, you can see one is a stage for the Bith band, or the modal nodes as they're called. You can then see the hand shot first kind of booth there as well. Some little kind of corner booths in there. In here, two more standard booths, and there's another little corner booth in there with two couches rather than chairs, which is definitely nice to see. Two little kind of side tables there as well. Definitely very nice design to the whole thing, and you can see lights running around the whole ways on the walls there. Now, something I will say about the design aspect is they've done this a few times in the set. They use these kind of angled pieces here to create the wall at a diagonal kind of slant rather than vertical or horizontal or anything. Like, it's actually very nice that they've done that. They've done it here as well, and here, and also over here with the door. It's just a very nice technique I think they've used. You can lift it up with ease. I will say be careful about lifting it up from the archways, and definitely be careful about opening it up that way, because it will fall out of your hand if you're not kind of grabbing on tight there. Also, something that you will probably notice straight away when you try and do it is don't lift it up by this roof, because nothing will come with it. I did that as soon as I built it, and I felt stupid. I really did. Now, if you want, I'll give you a little bit of a close-up of each of the kind of different sections here. You can see there's some standard booths on this side. Nothing too crazy with them. Here you can see the couches as well, with a little box there in the corner holding another pair of white binoculars. That box is the really nice print Imperial box that I've just loved to see in this set. Haven't seen it before, and I don't think we'll see it again. Then you can see obviously the other kind of tables there. The bar looking really good, I think. It's just very, very well done. I love all the different colours and all the different kind of slapstick kind of bits. Not slapstick, but just thrown together different pieces and stuff like that. Definitely interesting. You can then, of course, see the band area, the stage. This is then the booth that Han shot first in. You can see there that there's only one stud keeping on those characters there, so whenever you do use the mechanisms back there, it really does, you know, fire the characters off because they're not really stuck. Also then you can see a smaller booth with not an awful lot in there. You can probably fit someone there on, like, pretend it's like a little bench or something, but definitely probably the smallest booth out of the lot. You can then see the lobby in there, a nice little addition with 3 little seats there. You can see the stickered part in there as well, that little kind of box there. I'm not sure what to call it, but I think we all have seen it before. We all recognize it as soon as we've seen it as being part of Mos Eisley. Then you can see a stickered part here on the door to kind of again represent the doorway buttons, and another sticker up here probably saying Mos Eisley Cantina or Chalman Spaceport or something like that. Then on the back door then you can see a printed tile as another keypad for the door panel. One of the other stickers then is the 2 droids there, R2D2 and C3PO are the ones painted there. I'm sure it says no droids allowed, and to be honest, it's probably the easiest way we get to know that, because R2D2 and C3PO, you know, we'd make the connection in our heads with that sticker. Also, then out of that area, you will take these two little boxes. Now, this is like a little kind of janitor's shelving unit for Wooher, and also a little kind of storage area for more bottles and more kind of weird Star Wars drinks. In here, you will see there is another drink and another set of binoculars there. Nice little addition to the set. You know, like they said, Lego themselves said that this was an area like that they were given creative rights to, so they kind of made that up themselves, and they decided to make it a little kind of back door or a janitor area or a staff room, essentially, as some might call it. And to be honest, it looks well. And also, notably, once you open up the cantina and you stick it there, it's right behind the bar, so it does make sense. You know, the doorway is right in there. Also, you can open up this little thing I forgot to mention, but that just kind of proves it as well. You can kind of just go straight in there once it's behind the bar, and it does kind of make it look more like a little staff area. The overall design is really, really nice. To be honest, the more I was building it, the more I thought this is filling out, this is really well. Like, they've added these little bits to kind of differentiate, like it's not just one plain colour the whole way through. And the more I built it, as I was saying, the more I just thought this is definitely an adult's set. Like, you could definitely use it as a kid's set, and I'd be so happy with this if I was a kid. But as an adult as well, like as someone who appreciates the kind of display point of things and looking at something and just appreciating how the design is on it and the little details, it's just fantastic. I think it's my first proper big set, like it is, but it really blows it out of the water for the quality of it. As you can see, all these little details here, there's a little vent there, obviously because of what's going on here, there needs to be a little bit of a kind of cooling system there. There's little vents here as well, which I'm assuming just lets air out because it's hot there, and these little windows with no glass in them, it's accurate, makes sense as well. Like, it's just, all these little details are just really appreciated, and all these kind of weird kind of funnels and like antennas and tubes and stuff coming out of it are definitely lovely little add-ons there as well. As I said, these are kind of all over, these little hooks are all over the cantina as well, which I'm assuming, because they're beside the front door as well, I would more so think that it's for kind of mounts. So like, it looks kind of like where you put your horses if you were at like a saloon, you know. And it to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the idea was kind of created from the idea of a saloon as well when they were creating the Mos Eisley Cantina, like Star Wars themselves, not Lego specifically. But yeah, no, I'm just it's really hard to fault a set like this. One thing I did notice is that there's a couple of finicky parts here. Like, as you can see, this is kind of peeling off now from the side. That fell off a minute ago, and there's a little bit up here as well. Once you're closing it, sometimes that kind of comes off. But otherwise, like, it is a sturdy set, and the design and build techniques and just the whole thing is just fantastic. I really don't think I can fault it many other ways than that. So here we have the set in all its glory, everything attached, and I've put the figures around in a few places as well. As you can see, it looks really well with all of the little bits and bobs around the place. And of course, it's just hard to fault, really, to be quite honest with you. I think for a display point of view, it's fantastic. For a playability point of view, it's just amazing. There's just so much possibilities with displaying or playing with this set. It comes with so much. The design is bang on. It also then obviously comes with the two huts here in front of you, which just give a lot more possibilities to the whole play aspect of things. And it's just, the design, I think, is just flawless. As it says in the book, the designer has taken this as soon as he was hired for Lego, and they kind of only really perfected it recently to get it out for sale. And to be honest, once they perfected it, they really just got it right. I mean, the options for recreating all of the scenes that you find famously in Mos Eisley, like Han Solo shot first, the Mos Eisley Cantina band, or all of them at the bar, you know, when your man's arm gets cut off, And then even then in the corner you can see there's a new alien as well. That's just really nice to have in there. Also in the right corner you can see the Imperial Spy. I mean, there's just a lot of possibilities, as I said, with this set. Like, I just really find it hard to fault it. Thanks a million for watching my video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And comment down below if you think there's anything that needs to be said. Also, check out my Instagram if you think you've not seen enough display options of this set, because I have a ton of photos up on Instagram as well, showing kind of different little display functions and different little kind of techniques and like kind of little cubby holes and stuff. So yeah, thanks a million, guys. See you again. Take care.